After we are going live. So hey guys, we are here. Like today we are having some special guest with us, and we are having today Octo from Brazil, and he is one of the campus expert for GitHub. At the same time, he's one software developer therein, and we are also. he's also been into like a lot of like a very much key initiative person for Facebook Developer Circle. So yeah, thanks a lot, Octo. And how are you? I just want to like welcome you to Let's Upgrade community, and then. We are having one amazing, we're going to have an amazing session along with you that is regarding GitHub. And I hope that you will be like loving our even the audience there right now. And I hope that we are having somewhere around like 50 people, I think. Yes, we are somewhere around like 50 people. Hey guys, how are you all? So 50, 60, 70, and all. It will keep on increasing as soon as we go up and up. Okay. So we are having 60 people there. Hi, everyone. So hello from Let's Upgrade to all the audience who are watching us right now. And we are having Octo here, and we're going to start our whole session in just a little while. So all your greetings, you can just tell hi to Octo in the while. And we're also having here Abhishek, our lead at Build with Let's Upgrade. So this session has been like especially been arranged for Build with Let's Upgrade, but yep, it's not like we will be taking it even more ahead. So thanks a lot, Abhishek, for arranging this, and now thanks a lot, Octo, for being here with us. So now let us go ahead and now give this whole thing to Octo. Abhishek, would you like to tell something?
Um, no, it's fine. I'll tell at last.
Okay, fine. Now the count is 70 people, and in the meantime, hey guys, how are you all? I hope that everyone is fine. So now the whole stage goes to Octo, and Octo. Yep.
Hey, thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here. This is my first time like presenting something uh, to Let's Upgrade community, and I was invited by Abhishek, and it's like a pleasure to be here. Today we will talk a little bit about open source, how to become a open source contributor, and what you can use by GitHub to improve your open source career or your engineering career. Let me introduce myself. I'm Otacilio Maia. I'm a software engineer in Brazil in a company called Caesar. And I'm also a GitHub campus expert since 2017. And I'm a Facebook developer circle lead in my city, which is Recife, is in the northeast of Brazil. So if you want to know me a little bit more, you can find my website, which is otaciliomaia.com, and you can also install my library in npm by installing npm y/g Otacilio Maia. So let's start. What's open source? We will understand more about this movement that is changing the world. In open source world, you can be one of these two roles. The first role is contributor, and the second one is maintainer. So what you need to be a maintainer. To be a maintainer, you will need to have some experience as a contributor. So if you are like joining this open source world, I recommend you to join as a contributor. So you will have a little bit of experiences. You will know a little bit more about open source, and then you can become a maintainer of a project. Being a maintainer, you will need the ability to give feedbacks because you will be like reviewing code every time. And to review code, you have to have the ability, the skill of empathy, because you are like dealing with people, and sometimes you will have to reject some codes. You have to ask to people do things in different ways, and you have to know how to say it to people. You also will have to have some project management skills, because you are like leading a project. You sometimes will have to make decisions to make your project go in a direction and not in other direction. And be a maintainer, you can have a lot of users of your project. Open source has a growth impact really huge. You can like have a project, 1 month project with thousand millions of users of your project doing this as open source, because open source is available to everyone. Everyone can use your software for free and can see your code and improve and work in your project too. You being a maintainer, you also will improve your management skills because you are like leading a project. And yes, you can make some money. And you can make some money by Patreon or sponsorship. And also you can make some money consulting about your software. Okay, the second role, actually the first role that you can be is contributor. Being a contributor, you'll need to learn a little bit how to use Git, and I will show you in this talk a little bit of usage of Git, and you have to learn about the contribution flow on GitHub. GitHub is the house of open source today. Like mostly of open source projects you will find on GitHub, you can see all the source code and you can write code for this project too. And also you have to find a project that interests you. No one wants to work in a thing that you don't like or don't interests you. So first thing to become a contributor is find a project that fits you, that interests you, that you want to contribute. Okay, and being a contributor, you can learn a lot about the tech stack of the project. I like to say that the best way to learn a program language is being a contributor in a project that uses this program language. Like when I wanted to learn about Node.js or about React, I was looking for React libraries, and I can do this in this library. I can help this library doing this, and I learned a lot about React working with other React developers in these libraries. You can also make a great networking with developers from all around the world. Open source, let me do this talk because I met Abhishek in this road and we could share knowledge from across continents from Brazil. I'm from Brazil, presenting to you a community based in India, and people from all around the world can see this because this network by open source was established. And also you can create a strong portfolio where companies can see your work. Many companies before hiring you who will like check your GitHub. So if you want to have a great job, if you want to enter in a good company, you have to have a great portfolio on GitHub. A lot of companies check your GitHub before hiring you. So let's start. What's Git? Git, Git is a technology developed by this guy. This guy is Linus Torvalds, and Linus is the creator of the Linux operational system. And when Linus was creating Linux, it was like for open source first since the beginning. He had a huge problem. He had to put all pieces of codes that was like given to him, that was developed for contributors from all around the world. They have to put all this code together, and it was like really painful in this time because some piece of code was like arriving in an email, another piece of coding came from other email, and he had this challenge to put all together in only one piece of software. And another like painful thing it was to have the versioning, the timeline of evolution of this code. So he stopped a little while developing Linux to make a tool that could be able to put all these piece of code together to make this timeline of evolution of code possible and to make easier managing this. So he developed Git. Git had a, a special feature that's called branching. Branching makes able you to have new flows of your code. You have like the main flow of your code that we call master, but you can switch for different timelines of evolution of your code. So if you make a new branch and you are like testing things, you are not actually impacting the main evolution, the main line of your code. So if you're doing a alternative line of your code, you can do a lot of tests. You can develop here in this alternative line because this line is only yours. And when you finish, when this code is good, you can merge together in the main line. So it was developed in Git, and it was like the best feature of Git from the beginning. And another thing that we have like in mind is that Git was developed in a time where internet was not so common. So, and mainly cloud computing was not so common. So when Linus developed Git, he did it in a distributed way. What it means? It means that if you have a Git repository in your computer, in fact, you have a fully completed instance of a Git server in your computer. So in the beginning, Linus Torvalds uses to open a port on his computer and uses his own computer as a main Git server. So people that wanted to like share codes with Linux projects, they had to use Linus Torvalds IPs to connect with his computer. But then another word appeared in this world, which is GitHub. So what is GitHub, and is GitHub and Git the same thing? I say that no. GitHub becomes with the idea to turn Git servers in cloud, to make Git servers online and available to everyone. So instead of sharing my computer IP, I could have a website where I can host my Git repository. And then GitHub become also a social network. In GitHub, you can follow people, you can follow developers, you can see what they are like working, what they are developing. You can talk with them, you can make likes in projects to show that you support these projects. Likes in GitHub are stars, and you have all these kind of uh, actions that you can do in social networks, you can also do in GitHub. So GitHub, as they say, is a social coding platform. But how do you start Git? To start Git, if you haven't used Git yet, you can go to git/scm.com and install a Git tool to your computer. If you are using Windows, you will install the Git Bash, which is like a simulator of a terminal with Git installed. And if you are using Linux or Mac OS, you can just install Linux in your terminal. So let's go. If you are like using Git for the first time, you have to put these two commands. The first command, you are like configuring your global username. What is your username? Your username is the username that you will use to sign your commits. It's common to use the same username of GitHub. By example, my GitHub username is Otacilio N, and you can do the same. You can put your GitHub username here when you configure your git config username. And then you have to configure your user email. This will be used to sign to your commits. So then you have like to download the repository for your machine. See that it downloads with quotations because it's not only download. When you use the command git cloning, you are like downloading the repository and also make a full capable copy of a Git instance server. So after a Git clone, you can use your computer as a Git server if you want. But you can also make a copy of this repository only to develop locally in your computer and then push these changes to your remote server, such as GitHub. So Git clone does the download of the repository. By now, I will show you in practice. To do this, I will open my GitHub. If you don't have a GitHub account, you can do it by going to github.com and create an account. It's really easier. When you do this, you can go to a repository. For this talk, I will use this repository called Funny Algorithms, which is a really great repository where you can, it's really developed for beginners friendly. So if you want to contribute in this repository, if you want to make your first contribution, if you are like really starting in this road, I really recommend this repository. So what you can do here is like you can check a algorithm such as bubble sort, and you can like here write this algorithm in another programming language, or you can publish a new algorithm. So you have like a lot of algorithms and code here. Okay, so let's start this workshop. By now, I will use my terminal. Let me get this. Okay, and to clone a repository, you will use this command, git clone, and then you will copy the repository URL. Doing this, you just need to wait a little while it will clone. Okay, done. It's cloned in your computer. To navigate for this repository, you can use the command cd, which in Linux is change directory. So cd will change your directory for this directory. Funny algorithms. Okay, we are in this directory. So next step of our talk is clone. Okay, it's clone. Then you can use the command cd to enter this repository. Once you are in a repository, you can check your current branch. By default, if I type the command git branch, you will see only one branch with this symbol, and the branch name is master. Master, by default, is the main branch or main timeline of your code. But as I said, you don't need to have just one timeline. You don't need to have just one flow of your code. You can make alternative timelines. And for do this in Git is really simple. You just have to use the command git checkout /b. So if I type git checkout /b, I can say another timeline, another branch for this repository. So if I want to add something, I can do a branch called like add algorithm example. So, okay, I did a new branch in my computer. Doing this, let's to the next step. I can type the command git branch, and if I type git branch, I will see that I'm not in the master anymore. I change my branch to add algorithm example. It's another branch. So if I want to create or edit a file, I can open my text editor. I really like VS Code. So if you have VS Code installed, you can just type code dot and it will open your VS Code. So, okay, with VS Code in your computer, you can like type a algorithm. I will just do an example here. I will not actually really type an algorithm. But one thing that you can see before like starting doing code in an open source project is find this file. Uh, Mostly of open source projects in GitHub should have a file called contributing.md. If you open this file, you will have the contribution guideline of this repository. So here it teaches you how to make a contribution. First step that you can do is make a fork of the repository. What is a fork? Let me show you what is a fork. If a goes in a repository, it says the name of the company, person, or account that owns this repository. In this case, is his hub. So then you have the name of the repository. If you click in this button, which is called fork, you will make a copy of this repository to your account or to another account that you hold in your account. So I will fork this repository to my main account. Clicking in this button will make a forking, which is like a copy of this repository. Here you can pay attention that the name of the owner of the repository changed to my name. And it says, this repository is forked from GitHub funny algorithm, but now this version is mine. So I can commit, I can do changes in this copy without needing like to ask permissions from the original developer. So if you make a fork of the repository, you become the owner of this copy. And after you become the owner of this copy, after doing your changes, you can request to change your changes to the original one, to the original repository. So, okay, I did a copy. Now when I did a copy, I need to actually clone again this repository because when I did the clone before, I used the URL with GitHub. And now I will have to clone this repository. So I can undo my folder, like actually delete this repository, and I can clone this repository with git clone on algorithms, but now cloning with Otacilio N. Now I have rights to changes, to make changes and commit and push in this copy. Because, since I copied this fork is mine. So, okay, I can navigate again, find algorithms. I can check my branch. I will be in master because I reset. And then I can check out to a new branch, which I will call add algorithm. Oops. Example again. Okay, changed the branch. Now I can code. So let's start a code here. I will see the rules of this repository. So create a new branch. Okay, we are at this step. Then we'll have to add the code in a folder with the section that your algorithm belongs. So I will create a folder called example. In this folder, I will create a file called algorithm example dot as. So here I can type a code like console.log. This is an algorithm example, and do something like const a equal to 1 plus 3 console.log. This is a sum. Okay. Okay. So did an algorithm. It's a really stupid algorithm, but okay, it's an algorithm. And then we can check the changes. If I do if I type this command called git status, I will see all the changes that I have in my computer. I had these changes before, which was in my computer actually, but now the file that we actually changed is this file called example. Actually, the problem in this repository, no, it's good. Okay, and we have this file called example. If we will want to like commit these changes, if we will want to like save this change that I did now, we'll have to use the command git add, which I'm like saying to Git, I want to add these changes to the staging area. Staging is a area where you put things that you want to like save. So if I do git add example, I can do a git status and see now my example file is in this area, the stage area, and now I can do a second git command called git commit. Git commit is a command where I will say to Git, yeah, I want to save this point in the Git timeline. If I do this git commit, I can put a flag like M. M means message. So I can save a message to say what I did here. So I will put something like add a new example algorithm file. So okay, I add this file, and now if I made this change and goes here to my repository, make an update here, I will not see this change here. Because as I said, my Git repository is a fully completed instance of this server. If I want to communicate, if I want to like send my changes to remote repository, I will have to explicitly type this command, which is git push. Oops. Git push. With git push, I will send my changes to the remote server. One thing that is common when you type git push and you are like in a new branch is that you don't have this branch called add algorithm example in your remote repository. And one good thing about Git is when you have a problem, Git used to tell you how to fix this problem. So it says, fatal. The current branch at algorithm example has no upstream branch. But Git says to you, if you want to push this current branch and set the remote as upstream, you just need to type this command, which is git push set upstream origin add algorithm example. So if I copy this command and type, now it's good. So every time that you have a Git problem, don't worry. Stop a little, try to read about the problem, and most of times Git will tell you the correct way to do this. So now that we push it, we can go here and see what we did. If I click here, we will see the file, which is called example. And if I click here, we can see our changes published in GitHub. Now, is my contribution finished? No, because we did it in our fork. We need to send these changes to the original one repository, which is GitHub funny algorithm. So if you want to send your changes, if you want to contribute to the original repository, you have to make a pull request. If it goes here in the contributing guide, it says, now you have to push to your fork and submit a pull request. To submit a pull request, you just need to click in this green button, which says compile and pull request. You can like review your changes, which will appear here. It's okay, it was what I want to send to the funny algorithms Git repository. So if I want to do this, you just need to click in this button, create a pull request, And now what you did is you are asking to maintainers to review your changes. If they want to approve, they will review, they will say, okay, it's approved, and they will merge and put these changes in the original one repository. So when you finish this process, you are officially a contributor of a project. You can say, yes, I have my code in this repository, I have my code in this project. So see how it's easy? You just need to make a fork. Making a fork, you can make a branch. After making a branch, you can create a file, you can do your code. After doing your code, you can use the command git add to add these changes to your staging area. After adding these changes to your staging area, you can verify your changes with git status. After this, you can make a commit, putting a message. After putting a message, you can use git push to send your changes to the remote server or to send to GitHub. After sending to GitHub, you just have to make a pull request, clicking in this green button, and then create a pull request saying what you change. So one thing that I can tell you about GitHub is that GitHub has a lot of events that actually occurs in GitHub. One of the most interesting events that GitHub has is the Hacktoberfest. Let me show you what's Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest is a event uh, hosted by DigitalOcean, and it happens every single year. So every year you have a edition, and uh, the time is in October. So if you want like to be updated, you can like sign here your email. And in this event, it's amazing because if you do open source contributions during the month of October, you will receive for free in your home a t-shirt saying Hacktoberfest, some stickers, and you can like get some prizes during this event. And you only have to contribute with open source. And it's an amazing way to start in open source world. If you want to, I really recommend you to search a little bit more about Oktoberfest and to make part of this event this year. And also GitHub has other events such as GitHub Field Day, which I think that some campus experts already did it in India. So it's a huge event by GitHub focused in open source. A lot of open source maintainers are invited to this event. It's like really awesome. Also, we have like a lot of communities on GitHub. So you can meet these communities and organizations and like join these, contribute of these communities, make part of this. It's really good. I can tell you some organizations such as MLH, which is Major League Hacking. They do a lot of amazing hackathons all around the world. And we have like organization as Pylades, with its focus at to bring Python to women in technology. We have like Free Code Camp, and NASA is in GitHub, and you can see code from all these companies, from all these organizations. If you want to check the code that brings men to the moon, you can go to NASA repositories and you can see all this code there. And also GitHub has a lot of projects to students. GitHub has a technology leadership programs to your campus, which is called GitHub Campus Expert. GitHub Campus Expert is a program that I'm part of GitHub. And if you want to become a GitHub Campus Expert one day, you just need to go to githubcampus.expert and you can apply. If you believe that you are like a community leader, if you want to like share knowledge with people, If you want like movement your campus community, you can go in this website and you can apply or start your application. And also you can explore all the GitHub campus experts in the world and find the campus experts that are near to you. So here in Brazil, we have some campus experts. We have a lot of campus experts in India, as you can see. So if you want to check if there exists a campus expert near to you, you can come to this site and click and check their profile. So yeah, this is campus expert program. We are like supported by GitHub to make events in our communities. GitHub gives us like sponsorship, swags, and a lot of things to make our events better, and a lot of support. And we also have the GitHub Student Developer Pack. If you go to education.github.com, you can just a little, you can click here in GitHub Student Developer Pack. GitHub Student Developer Pack, it's an amazing program by GitHub. It's a partnership from GitHub to a lot of companies that gives you a lot of stuff for free. So if you are like student, you just need to click here and apply to this pack, and then you will win like a free domain from Namecheap, a free domain to name.com, a Canva account, a unit plan, a AWS education credits, JetBrains, and a lot of amazing stuff given by GitHub and partners to you just for free. And all you have to do is go to education.github.com/pack. So, okay, let's follow in. And GitHub brings to you a thing called GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages is a way that you can have a free web pages at GitHub. So you can do this using Jekyll, where you don't have to know how to type HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You can do just writing a markdown file, and Jekyll will apply style to this content. So you just need to worry about the content, and Jekyll will build your site in an amazing way, and you can publish it for free at GitHub. And you also can do your website like using HTML, CSS, and these technologies, actually even using React.js. And you can also host these pages on GitHub for free. I will show you my website. It's otaciliomaia.com. And even using a custom domain, which is .com, otaciliomaia.com, I hosted it for free in GitHub. So this is amazing. You don't have like to pay anymore for servers to host pages since they are like static. So if you do a static page, you can use GitHub page to host for you for free. So thank you, folks. If you want to find me, if you want to ask more after this talk, you can find me at GitHub at Otacilio N is my profile. And also you can find me on LinkedIn, which is Otacilio, and in my website, otaciliomaia.com. So this is it.
Okay, so it was nice. Otacilio. So how are you? How are you right now? After this talking to our people, I think let us take few questions from them, and I will be the one who will getting the questions. Abhishek, would you like to join in? Abhishek? Yep, just 1 minute. I'm getting all the questions. So it was very nice information, Octo. I was having a brief with the website one which you have shared right now. It is something which I also known for the very first time. So thanks for that. I was looking about known about GitHub Pages. But first time I'm
Yeah.
seeing about this thing that is more to do with like you can also have your custom domains mapped
Yeah.
to the pages. So that's the first time I'm actually heard about it. So thanks a lot for that. Just 1 minute. Let me just have a look at all the questions which we are having here. So hey guys, like what we say that now please have your questions up and running for us, right? I mean we will be like taking up all the questions. So yeah. So can I get the video? Okay. Hey, one of you. I just need your questions coming in. So once we have your all questions, we can ask to Octo. Okay, so one of this question goes to Abhishek. Abhishek, can I get this video after the live stream ends? I mean, can we have the video and all? The students are asking you from. I think this 100% you all guys can access this thing on YouTube for what we say at the point it's there. So 100% is the place is there. Right? Yep. Someone is complimenting you Octo for the great presentation. So thanks a lot for it. And also like. Okay, so in the meantime, any question, guys, or else like we will be not holding. I mean, what we say, Octo, because he is having a very busy schedule, and we don't want to like even more take his time. But yep, any other questions? I'm just waiting for 1 minute more, and then
Okay.
afterwards we will be taking
Yeah,
that.
someone has asked what is merge conflict.
Yes, what is
Ah,
merge conflict?
good question. Merge conflict, as I said, when you like using Git, you can have like alternative timelines of your code, such as this. You have like your main timeline, and you have like a alternative timeline of your code. Sometimes you want to merge, you want to like put all this timeline together. So imagine that you have like a file. Let me create a file, and you say like const. Actually, let me put this file. Okay, like I'm developing in a timeline, and I say const uh, const value equal to 42. Okay, and another develop. So in another timeline, someone says that const value equal to 13. So when we want to like put all this code, all this different timeline together, what Git will do? Git will check that in the same line you said that value is 42, but in another timeline version you said that in the same line that value is 13. Git will see this and say, "Oops, I don't know which is the actually the real one value." So it will say, "Okay, we have a conflict here. You have to solve this. You have to say to me what is the actually value for this line? Is 42 or 13?" And this is a Git conflict. Most of times Git can like solve conflicts, such as if you do const value blah blah, and in another timeline you say const var const sample blah blah. And Git, if you do something like this, Git will just put all this together because it knows how to handle this. But if you do the same thing in the same line, it will conflict and it will ask you what is actually the real value for this line. So this is a Git conflict.
Yep. So we are having one more question here. The question is, what is Git package? What is I mean Git package? I mean in whole. What's in Git package in whole? Git package.
Git package, such as like what is in Git package?
Yes. I think it's Git package. Yep. Git package
Like
in terms of like what we say, like we like the different kinds of libraries are being hosted on, like I think GitHub. So they may be asking it for like how can we get the different the Git packages. That's what Akash Ramand is asking. What is Git package?
I don't know if it asking about Git student developer pack or if it asking about like .git, which is actually it's the .git. If they are asking about this folder?
Yes, this one. Yes, yes, the folder one, the terminal.
The folder. Okay. In Git folder, we'll have like a how can I say this in English? Let me translate in my head. So okay, in this folder you have a linked list of references. So what Git does actually, it's a differential storing. So when you start a file, it will say, okay, I will save this full file content here in objects like compressed, and okay, I will start this whole file here. When you make a change, such as, look, okay, I will add this, instead of saving all this file again here, what it will do actually under the hood is it will say, okay, this file has this reference, so I will add just this file and point to the before reference. So what Git stores is only the changes where you can see in objects, but just like cryptography, like compressed there, and also it stores the reference of each commit. So instead of saving all this file every time, it will just save the difference of the files. So this file has, like, let's suppose reference equal to ABC. Actually, we can see the reference by typing, let me do git log. Okay, this commit has this reference. Oops, this reference. Okay, so when I do a change, this is a change. Okay, what they will do is just save this change and put this is the same change. So I will save this and point to the commit before, which is this reference. So what we'll have, like in halves folder, is a linked list of all these references. So by reference to reference, you can reconstruct all the path, all the history of the file, and you don't have like to save all this file. So if you go to .git folder, you will not see the files here. You will not see the versions saved here, but you will see like compressed original file and the changes of each file saved.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Doctor, for that. And one more question is like, can we do same without using terminal? I mean, like, okay, that was it is in regard of like issues, conflict one, merge conflict one. The question was there. It is related to that. The question, the current question is, can we use merge conflict without the help of terminal or some? I mean, like with the help of GUI directly?
So can we handle conflict without using UI? Is this a question?
Without using terminal. I mean, like, there are two ways to operate Git, right? Git. So one is, I mean, the first version, and like the way is to directly go with the terminal, right? And the
Terminal?
second terminal. I mean, our bash.
Bash. Okay, if
Yes.
we
So
can solve without using bash,
yes. Can we solve merge conflicts without using bash?
yeah, you can solve conflict sometimes directly from GitHub. GitHub has
Yeah.
actually an amazing way to do this. Let me show you. Probably in this repository we will see a conflict that. Uh, Let me see if we find this. No, has no conflicts. Let me see. But you can solve conflicts directly from GitHub. Now, here, if you are like in a repository here and you see, okay, there's conflicts here in GitHub, you don't have actually to go to your computer and solve it in Bash. You can do it this by GitHub and click here to resolve conflicts. Then
Hmm.
it will open this uh, browser and you can see the conflict. What is the conflict? It has a function definition here, and the same function definition with different code. So we will have like to choose, is the right version this one or the right version this one. If you want to solve, what you have to do is choose what the right version is. Like if I prefer this version, okay, let me check this code. Mm, okay, I think this is the best version of the code because like has less lines, has examples. Okay, so if I choose this file, I just need like to delete this line because this line is a conflict indicator. So I will delete this line, and from this line to below, I will delete all these lines. So okay, now my code has no conflicts, has the right one signature, and I can put like math as resolver. And when I do this, I can commit my merge just from the web page. And after doing this, okay, there's no conflicts anymore. I'll be able to merge these pull requests now. It's good.
Yep. Yep. That's what I mean. Amazing for that thing. Any other question, guys? I mean, any other question? Name of the coding language. It is like, okay, the Octo was using JavaScript for like showing up this whole demo. So that's what it is. And how can we? Okay, how can we attach a custom domain by using Git to the GitHub pages? How can we
Good
attach?
question. It's really simple. GitHub actually has a tutorial of this. So if you do like GitHub custom domain, GitHub pages, it will tell you. Just let me just show you the on docs.github.com configuring a custom domain. And the only thing that you have to do is like you will put. Let me show you my website. Okay, not this one. Let me find just a moment.
How many repositories you are having, Octo?
I think 200, something like this. Let me see.
Yeah, amazing.
Uh, but it's like near to like 155.
Yep, amazing.
.com. Let me see here. I don't know what it was. Okay, the thing that you have to do is you will like publish all your files of your website. So I have like a index.html. I'll have a lot of files here, my CSS, my JavaScript, and all my files here. And you will create a file called cname. It's really
Okay.
easy. In the cname file, you will put your domain. So mine is
Okay.
otaciliomaya.com. And all you have to do is go to
Point the
your
DNS. Point
to
the
your
DNS.
yeah, point the DNS. So GitHub says here where you have to point your DNS. They have like 3 IPs, and it's really simple. You just have to add
That's it.
these IPs. So if
That's
you
it.
point your DNS to GitHub, you just need to create a file called cname, and it will be bring it to you online. And the best thing about this is that GitHub, you don't need to make any additional configuring, and it will provide you SSL
Okay.
verification. So they use Let's Encrypt. They have like
Yeah.
partnership with Let's Encrypt, and your site will be like connection is secured using HTTPS like security shell.
It-
So you have
yeah.
like all this configuration really easy to bring it by GitHub.
So one small question here. I'm having a question here. That the question is, can we host any kind of what we say? This is going to be a static HTML website, right? I mean, can we have some kind of Firebase code or something also can be attached to the website? Can we do that?
Yeah. They like you can't have like back end handler things. So if you are like you want to use PHP, if you want to like process things in backend, you cannot host the backend part on GitHub, but
Okay.
you can do a page that consumes a API, that consumes a backend, and you can host the front end part entirely in GitHub. I
Wow.
actually have a application called Tinderesi, which is like a Tinder clone, but for
Oh,
studying. Let me find here. Actually, it has more than one name. Let me find Tinderes. Okay. So in Tinderesi, we use Firebase. So what I have here is like the compiled version of the React.js.
okay. Okay. Compiled. You have compiled it fully.
Yeah, it's like the build version. But actually, I use Firebase in this project, and it's really you can host it on GitHub, and you can connect to Firebase. You can connect to your backend. You just cannot like doing backend processing in GitHub because it's not like a server. But if you can open your desktop and you don't need like anything to actually run a server in your computer, you can host it on GitHub.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in React, you can use React, Vue.js, Angular, you can use Svelte, all these things. If you can build, the build version can be hosted by GitHub for free. So yeah,
Okay,
it's fun.
amazing, amazing, Octo. So yep, here we are, guys. Now the Q&A session ends. Now, thanks a lot, Octo, for just what we say, your all valuable inputs on the questions. So now, yes, just let me switch the screen. Yep. First of all, Octo, like we would like to appreciate your time and like your efforts for like this open source initiative which we guys are doing. So yes, now every one of them is saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and all here.
Thank you, guys.
So yeah, so thanks a lot, Octo, for just like your time and your efforts which you have kept in for us. We have a small what we say, a token of appreciation letter which will you will be receiving from our end, maybe in by tomorrow or something. So by tomorrow this time you should be having your appreciation letter from Let's Upgrade as a community
Thank you.
member. So thanks a lot, Octo, for your this whole contribution. This is the first, I think, appreciation letter which you'll be receiving from India, right?
Oh, awesome. So
Awesome.
yeah,
This is the first
thank
time
you
you'll be
very much.
receiving something in India, right? So yes, now I 100% we are gonna have you onboarded with us for like longer period of time. As soon as this initiative grows even more and more, we will be 100% in touch. Okay, so that's where, and you can see now some heart emojis and all coming in for you, and you're so thanks a lot, guys, and. We will be like having such amazing array of speakers coming in and meeting you all, guys. That's what is Let's Upgrade, and thanks a lot, Abhishek, for like leading this amazing initiative. And we have got 500 participants in the first season itself, and it's a good number to start with. So after like we will be 100% being in touch with you, and we will take things more ahead. Abhishek, please now, please start whatever you have thought about it. Yep.
So, hello everyone. So, I'll say just a single line like whoever is a part, just a minute. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. You are audible. Yes, yes, you are audible.
So, I'll be just like telling the people who are part of Build with Let's Upgrade, just guys do well. We are putting a lot of effort to make this program a grand success. So we will be having many more guest speakers with us to have a session with all of us. So guys, give your 100% effort and let's make this program successful and host your websites, all the projects, whichever will be there, we will see it.
Yep, 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 yep. Amazing. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Okay, Octo, like we will take the leave then. Okay, Abhishek, thanks a lot. And we will now end the stream. Yep. Yep. Chalo.
Thanks everyone for joining.
So
Thanks a lot.
awesome.